You guys, it is finally the time of year I always look forward to. It is holiday time, and I don't know about y'all, but my biggest flex is that I always bring the best baked goods to every family gathering. So I'm going to show you guys how I make my favorite chocolate chip pecan cookies. I'm going to put all of the ingredients on the screen so you guys can copy this recipe at home because it's literally perfect and it's so freaking easy. These cookies come out like fluffy, they're juicy, they're moist. I know a lot of people hate that word, but these are some good freaking cookies, y'all. So I go ahead, I make the world's best cookie dough. Seriously, I like to bake big batches of this sometimes and then just freeze it so that I can make these cookies whenever I want. And I went ahead and I took out my little sheet. I don't really have parchment paper. I never really use parchment paper, so I just use the cookie sheet, but it's fine. They come out perfect every single time. Like, look at these. Oh my gosh, crumble who? I like to put a little bit of brown sugar on top. It just helps to intensify the flavor, and that is literally it. These are amazing, and I cry every time. Bye, guys.
Do you need a delicious dessert to take to Thanksgiving or Christmas or any other family function gathering? Then this recipe is for you. It is amazing. One of the best things to take to any type of family gathering or get together, especially for Thanksgiving or Christmas, is a chest cake. So all you're going to need is 1 stick of butter, 8 ounces of cream cheese, 3 eggs, 1 pound of powdered sugar, and yellow cake mix. It does not matter the brand because we're just going to mix it all together. Using your hand mixer, you're going to take your yellow cake mix and 1 egg and then the 1 stick of melted butter and combine it all together. Now we're going to mix all the ingredients until it forms a soft dough. So after you mix all the ingredients together, it should form a thick-like consistency dough. So now you are going to spray your 9x13 pan with vegetable oil. After you grease your pan, you're going to take the dough and line it out across the bottom of the pan. After you do that, you preheat your oven to 300, and then we move on to making the last part. You are going to need a pound of the powdered sugar. I typically do a little under a pound just because it is very sweet. Then you've got your 2 eggs and 8 ounces of cream cheese. After you've mixed the powdered sugar, cream cheese, and 2 eggs, it should look like this. Now to mix. After you have blended everything in, it should look just like this. Once you've got the ingredients all mixed together, then you combine and layer it right on top. And now just line the first batch and the second batch together. You want it to be covered where it's covering up the dough, just to give it a more delicious flavoring taste. Now, I did not use an entire pound of powdered sugar. You do not have to, although the recipe calls for it, but my family likes it just like this. After everything is combined, this is what it should look like. Now, you're going to put it in your oven for approximately an hour or until the top is a golden brown or light golden brown, depending how you want it. I let mine cook for 45 minutes until it was nice and golden brown. Now you just set it out for about 10-15 minutes so it can completely cool off. And it is okay if it flattens down a little bit at the top, but this is your finishing result.
a super unpopular opinion, but my favorite dessert at Thanksgiving is actually apple pie, and I have two different recipes for it. This is my beginner-friendly recipe. So I started off by taking my apples and cutting this up into bigger slices. I know a lot of people like them in small cubes, but I don't really like them that way. Add a little bit of lemon juice and water to help the apples not brown as fast as they usually do without it. You're going to go ahead and take a pan, put that on medium heat, throw those apples in with half a cup of brown sugar, half a cup of granulated sugar. I do a third a cup of flour, and then you're going to add in some salt, cinnamon, and nutmeg. I don't really have measurements for these. I just kind of eyeball it. I do more cinnamon than I do nutmeg. And then you're going to fold the apples. Do not stir or you're going to break them. It's going to turn into mush and it's not going to be good. So you're going to fold them in like this. Once that's done, you're going to go ahead and put the lid on and let those cook on that medium heat with the lid on for 20 minutes. Make sure you're stirring periodically so they don't stick to the bottom of the pan. You're going to add in a splash of vanilla extract, and then it is time to assemble. I realized last Thanksgiving I actually left my pie dish at my mom's house and I haven't got it back since. So I did have to use a cake dish to do this, but it turned out just as good. So no worries if you don't have a pie dish. Literally just use your freaking cake dish, okay? But I go ahead and I put that filling in, and then I like to do like a lattice crust even when I'm using pre-made crust like this. On my more advanced recipe, I do make my crust homemade, but for something easier for people who don't want to do all of that because Thanksgiving is super time consuming, this works just the same. Just make the crust fancy. I like to take like the scraps that are left over and make little shapes. So I made like a leaf and a pumpkin, and I just find that even when you're using like store-bought crust, this is a way to elevate the recipe. You're going to go ahead and stick that in your oven at 425 according to whatever the package tells you for the crust. Mine was 25 minutes and it comes out looking like this, and y'all, it is so freaking good. And this is literally so easy. This took me about 40 minutes to do versus my other recipe, which takes me 2 hours. So let me know if you guys want to see that one. But yeah, that was it. This is the best freaking dessert at Thanksgiving in my opinion. Bye guys.
This is one of our favorite desserts for Thanksgiving. It is so stunning and it's full of flavor. We're starting with a very simple tart crust. When I say simple, I mean very simple. You just have to mix everything together. There's no food processor involved. It's made with olive oil, which, hello, I don't know why we aren't making more tart crust with olive oil. Simple, delicious, very crispy, and melt in your mouth. Anyway, that's the crust. It has a little bit of rosemary in there for some added flavor. So good. And then we're making our cranberry curd, which uses fresh or frozen cranberries. We're adding a little bit of zip in the form of pink peppercorns and honey, both of which add some floral notes. And then we have some orange going in there and, of course, butter. And then you're basically going to temper that hot mixture into some eggs, and then you're going to pour that all back into a saucepan and cook it until it's silky smooth and luscious and glossy. And then we like to add a splash of Grand Marnier or any kind of orange liqueur you like. And then give it a chill, spread it into your tart pan or tart crust, and give it a very brief bake and enjoy.
Let's make these Irish cream pumpkin cheesecake bars for Thanksgiving. They're so good, so easy. You don't even need a water bath. Start with your crust. It's made of ginger snap cookies. Press it into a pan and bake. Mix together cream cheese, sugar, eggs, vanilla, canned pumpkin, Irish cream, and of course cozy fall spices to make that luscious batter. Pour it into your pan and bake until it's just set. The center will still have a slight wobble. Serve with boozy Irish cream whipped cream.
This one's for all the people who don't like to bake but still like to eat dessert. This caramel apple dump cake is so good, and it might be the easiest dessert that you could take to a holiday party. Just open up 2 cans of caramel apple pie filling and pour that into a greased casserole dish. Then grab 2 packages of Martha White cinnamon sugar muffin mix and pour those over the top. Resist any urge you have to mix this together. That's why it's called a dump cake. Cut up a stick of butter and place it over the top of that mix, and then this bakes at 350 for about an hour. It'll come out of the oven with a golden and crunchy crust on top with that bubbling apple goodness underneath. Then all it needs to finish it off is a scoop of vanilla ice cream over the top.
Oh my gosh, how is it already Thanksgiving time again? I feel like we just did this, but it is, and here we are. And if you love pumpkin pie as much as I do, you're gonna love my pumpkin slab pie version, which has all the same flavors and ingredients as traditional pumpkin pie, but my family actually likes it even better. It's super easy to make and even easier to serve. Unroll and stack 3 pie crusts on top of each other, and roll it out into a 12 by 8 rectangle. Transfer it into a 10 by 15 jelly roll pan, trim off the excess, and crimp the edges. Whisk together 30 ounces of pure pumpkin puree, 1 3/4 cups dark brown sugar, 1 1/2 cups heavy cream, 1 cup evaporated milk, 4 large eggs, 1 tablespoon vanilla, 2 tablespoons cornstarch, 2 teaspoons pumpkin pie spice, and 1 teaspoon of fine sea salt. Pour the mixture into the crust and smooth out the top. Bake at 400 degrees for 28 to 32 minutes until the crust is golden brown and a toothpick inserted into the center comes out clean. Let it cool completely on a wire rack. Serve at room temperature or chill for a few hours and enjoy cold with some piped whipped cream. For the written recipe and storage information, there's a link in my bio.
Hey y'all, let's make a delicious Thanksgiving dessert and or side. You're only going to need these few ingredients here. An 8-ounce tub of Cool Whip, a 20-ounce can of crushed pineapple drained, a can of whole cranberry sauce, and some delicious miniature marshmallows. You're going to take that almost thawed Cool Whip, add to it the crushed pineapple. And I don't even mix it from here. I just go in with the cranberry sauce. Take your cranberry sauce and add it to it. Y'all, my husband, when he was growing up at Thanksgiving, his grandmother always made this delicious fluff. I don't know how she made it. I didn't get the recipe. I know that it had Cool Whip, probably some cream cheese and pineapple and some type of jello. It was delicious. Well, when the pandemic hit in 2020, I wanted to make something special for him to kind of remind him of his grandmother, since we wouldn't be having Thanksgiving with our extended families, that we had to be home and be away from our families. So I found this recipe online, and y'all, it has been a hit. All you're going to do is mix those cranberries, pineapple, and that Cool Whip. It's going to be a little bit it's going to be a little bit liquidy, and that's okay because you're going to have to let it sit for at least 2 hours in the fridge. And once you get that good and stirred together, make sure you get all that pineapple in there with the Cool Whip, y'all. It's so easy and delicious. Get your bag of marshmallows. I don't measure. I measure with my heart. I did about half of a 20-ounce bag here. 10-ounce. I'm sorry. I did 5 ounces of marshmallows here. That was a 20-ounce can of crushed pineapple. So get that good and fold it in there. Just take your time, fold it. You want those marshmallows to stay plump and beautiful. Look at this, y'all. My lighting is horrible. I'm sorry. It's cloudy here. Look how beautiful this is.
Today I'm showing you how to make Pilgrim Hat cookies. You'll need chocolate striped cookies, unwrapped Rolo caramel candies, M&Ms, and colored candy melts, melted to package instructions. There's no special skills or oven required, so they're perfect for little kids to help make, and you can vary the color of the candy melts and M&Ms for variety if you want. Such a quick, easy, and fun treat for Friendsgiving or Thanksgiving. For the full written recipe and details, there's a link in my bio. Aren't they just the cutest?
How about some chocolate chip pie for those who don't like pumpkin?
Who's not gonna like that? All the kids are gonna like that.
1 stick of softened butter, half a cup of brown sugar, half a cup of white sugar.
Cream it up, just like that. In a separate bowl with 2 eggs. Whisk them up, add it to your batter, blend it some more. Perfect. 1 teaspoon of vanilla, mix it up. 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour. Mix it up with a spoon, just like this. Fold in 6 ounces of chocolate chips, like this. Add it to your pie shell. And spread it.
We're gonna bake at 350.
Just look. I want you to get this. Look at this. How delicious. Ready?
Guys, whatever you do in your life, please make this. Please.
These Nutter Butter turkey cookies are so cute and so easy to make. All you're going to do is add some candy ice to some Nutter Butter cookies, finish the turkey's face with half a Reese's Pieces and some red frosting. And you're just going to dip some pretzels into some melted chocolate, put those on a piece of parchment paper and put the Nutter Butter cookie right on top, add some sprinkles and you're done. Aren't they the cutest? Follow for more holiday treats.
I'm going to show you how to make the dessert that is super popular with my family on the holidays. So first you are going to crumble up some brownies on the bottom. And then next is like a peanut butter mousse, essentially. It's a cup of peanut butter, a block of cream cheese, and a cup of powdered sugar and some heavy cream that you whip together. Then you got chocolate pudding. Put that on top. Sorry, everything's a little shaky. Got my kid helping me out here, so. Then you layer in some Cool Whip. Make sure to save some of everything because you're going to do it again. Then you do a layer of Reese's and you repeat. And then you lick the spoon and have fun. Enjoy. Happy holidays. Let's make some fluff. If you don't already know, in the coming weeks, I'm going to be going through all of my holiday recipes. This is one of my holiday desserts, and I'll have them on the playlist below. You're going to need 16 ounces of whipped topping. I use the Great Value brand because y'all already know I'm fancy, but you can use whatever brand you like. Just make sure it is completely thawed out. And then the lid to the whipped topping container, you can either scrape this off or lick it. You're also gonna need a 10-ounce bag of mini marshmallows. I'm not ready, I forgot to get my scissors out. Thankfully, they're right on top. All right, a 10-ounce bag of mini marshmallows. And then you're gonna need 12 ounces of the small curd cottage cheese, which is half of this container. And y'all, the last time I made this, everybody was like freaking out about the cottage cheese part. You can't taste it, but if you want to substitute, we'll get to that next. 1 20-ounce can of crushed pineapples and a 29-ounce can or 2 small cans of mandarin oranges. I will never get over how much I love this can opener. I drained all the fruit, and now we're going to add that in. Now for the substitution of cottage cheese. If you don't like cottage cheese or you just don't think you can handle it, I promise you can't taste it. You can substitute the cottage cheese for extra of the crushed pineapple. Now you're gonna need a 6-ounce container of Jell-O. We like the orange, but I've also made it with strawberry and lime, pretty much any flavor. Raspberry is good too, any flavor you like. Today we're doing orange. Sprinkle that in there. Then you are going to carefully just fold all of this together. I'll show you when it's done. All right, y'all, here it is after it is all mixed up. It is best to let this sit in the fridge for at least 6 hours. I normally make it the day before, and it's good for about 2 days before it's done. But I'm gonna tell you right now, it's not gonna last 2 days. This recipe is in my cookbook. It's one of the few desserts that I have in there. This is mostly dinners and dinner sides in my cookbook. All right, we're gonna let it sit in the fridge for a few hours, and then we'll come back and do a taste test. All right, y'all, here it is after 6 hours. I already scooped some out, but you want to let it sit because your marshmallows will absorb all the moisture in here and they get like super fluffy. That's why we call it fluff. Anyway, we're about to do a taste test. All right, baby girl, want to do the taste test tonight. Here we go.
That is delicious.
We love this dessert. It is so good. All right, y'all, thanks for coming to my fake cooking show. Bye.
I'm going to show you how to make my famous pumpkin crumble cake. You're going to need yellow cake mix. Reserve 1 cup of the cake mix. So now let's use the remaining whole bag. 1 can of pumpkin puree. I'm going to be using a whole can of 29 ounces. 1 stick of melted butter. 1 cup of buttermilk and 1 egg. 1 cup of brown sugar and pumpkin pie spice. And now you whisk. And don't over mix it. And this is the consistency that you want, a little lumpy. Now you're gonna need another yellow cake mix for the dough. To the dough, you want 1 stick of melted butter and 1 egg and 1 spoonful of sugar. And you mix. And this is the consistency that you want. Now let's dump it in your baking dish. Now get a rubber spatula and just spread it out. Now let's dump the pumpkin batter. Crush our pecans. Now let's make the crumble. Add the pecans. We're gonna use half of softened butter. Now let's just top it off. Now it's ready for the oven. All right, it's been 45 minutes. Now let's cut a piece. Beautiful.